All systems nominal.
Welcome back. We're time to finally dock. Um, so I'm supposed to take 2 videos. It's now taking 4. So guess that's a good indication on my predicting skills. We are about 80 kilometers away. We have a signal for the IDS of dock 1. So let's set that up. So we switch to the docking MFD, which tells you information that I will get to later on. But right now I just want to send that to the heads-up display. So here's the information that you basically need to close in with the International Space Station, or anything you're docking with. The relative velocity and the distance. Um, I will swing by this really quick, actually, even though I'm short on time to do this. I'm going to be kind of rushed, sorry. So turning around, you're going to see the International Space Station flash by. That green splotch is not the International Space Station, but I'll get to that in a moment. And the velocity is the circle with the cross through it, just like our prograde velocity was. Switch this to map and track and zoom in. And I'm turning around because it's a lot easier to decelerate when you're facing the other direction. So here's our anti-velocity, which is the circle with the dot in it. And I'm going to accelerate time until we get closer to the International Space Station. So there we go.
5,000.
So firing the main engines. Again, I'm super happy at the glowing lights. Okay, I'm nerdy. So what? 5 meters per second is pretty good. So turning back around, and you will see what those green splotches are more easily. The green splotches were these things, and they extend out from the docking port, so you know basically where it is in relation to the International Space Station.
Translation.
Um, so
4,000.
I've switched my RCS mode to translation, which I'm actually going to zoom out. So you can see it's firing both of these rockets at the same time. So it's not turning me, it's rather pushing me to the right. And you can see the
3,000.
effect here as our velocity is being pushed to the right. And you can have the ones that fire all the bottom rockets at the same time. So the translation mode allows you to move the ship without turning the ship, which is very useful.
2,000.
Slowing down here. If I time this right, we are going to get dawn at the precise moment that's going to be beautiful and perfect and happy. Gonna speed up time to get closer. You can kind of see the shadow if the video captures good enough. You can see the International Space Station up here.
Translation. Rotation. Translation. Warning. Nose cone is closed.
So the lady's telling us the nose cone is closed. I'll get to that in a moment.
Warning. Nose cone
Yes,
is
I know,
closed.
lady. Thank you. She's gonna keep annoying me with that, by the way.
Rotation. Warning. Nose cone is
So I'll just get
closed.
to it. Turn on the APU
Warning. Nose cone is closed.
and open the nose cone. And I'll show you what that means when it's daytime. So here we go. There's the International Space Station. You can see the docking port as this glowy dot. Now that we're facing the right direction, you can see all of the information that we need to see to dock. And that is, well, most of the information. There's this red X, the yellow plus, and eventually there will be a little red diamond. And I'll show you the red diamond. So this red X is, it's a red triangle, by the way. This red X is how you are oriented in relation to the dock. So as you can see, as we twist around, the X moves around, and we want that to be dead center. And as it gets to the center, the red triangle shows up, which means that we need to roll to the proper orientation. Yay, it's dawn! You can see the beautiful dawn against the International Space Station as the light slowly changes from red to orange. Anyway, so that's our orientation. As you notice, the white X is already getting off, and that's because the International Space Station
Information.
is slowly
APU
running.
running.
They're slowly turning. It's telling me the APU is running without any load, which means you're wasting fuel, so I turn it off. Anyway, the ISS is slowly rotating, so we need to kill the rotation. And there we go. Let's switch back. So now we get a bit easier. Sorry about that. So regain orientation. And then the next part is to get this plus to be in the center. And you do that with translation. And as you can see, as we move the arrow, it corresponds to the velocity, and it moves the x. The x, or the plus, could be considered where the docking port is in relation to our docking port, which is now visible, and I will show you that in a moment. So we open the nose cone, which is right here. You can see it's open in parts, revealing the docking port. The docking port is hidden, protected by the nose cone for things like re-entry. So now we go forward and close with the International Space Station. I'm going to go at about 1.5 meters per second, which is pretty fast to dock.
75.
And the goal right now is just to keep the yellow plus as centered as possible. The white X will not move very much now that we have killed the rotation of the International Space Station. And this circle, I talked about it briefly. No, I didn't. That was a different take. Sorry.
40.
This circle indicates how close the yellow plus has to be for you to be in a happy little docking cone of this will work. If the plus is outside the circle will turn red, and it's probably best to stop,
20.
rearrange yourself, and start again later on. And as you can see, the circle gets closer and closer to the center as we get closer and closer to the dock, which makes sense. The closer you be, the closer you are, the closer ye be, the closer you are, the more accurate you have to be.
9.
So slowing down a bit, you notice this number distance is different than this number distance. This distance is the distance to the docking port. This is the distance to the center of mass of the International Space Station.
4.
So here we go. You can see the docking ports coming close together.
2.
And so far as I know, there's no upper limit to the speed at which you can dock. I have accidentally docked something at probably 200 meters per second. Big mistake on my part, but I like to dock slowly because it's more realistic. You don't want to hurt the docking port. So there we go. We have just docked with the International Space Station. There we are. And it's very symmetrical. Dock 1. I can't remember where Dock 3 is. I believe it's this one right here. Dock 1's pretty cool. So there you go. We are docked. And let's open up the doors. APU is offline. Of course it is. So I'll turn it on. Open up the doors, outer and inner. You can see
Using external
right
rotation.
here. So outer door and inner door are opening up, revealing the inside. Turn these back on. Yay, the nav light! Yay for local light source, so we can light up the dock with our lights. See, is that? It is the nav light. Cool. I was gonna open up the bay doors for you very early on, but I'll do that later, even more later. So you can also open up the fuel hatch and the LOX hatch and turn on external cooling, which
LOX resupply systems online.
so
External cooling online.
with these operational, I can turn off the APU. With these operational, you can refuel the ship. ISS doesn't have scram fuel. They do have APU and oxygen.
LOX tanks full. LOX
So that's how you
resupply
resupply
systems offline.
You may notice the main engine's going up, but the RCS is not. So you just turn that to
Proceed to
RCS,
RCS.
and it puts fuel from the main tank to the
Maintain
RCS fuel.
fuel tanks full.
And there you go. That is refueling. And that is where we will stop this video.